This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, how there, ho there, it's Jeff Cutastrophe, and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, August 21st, is a relief pitcher who was well known for pitching for the Dodgers, Expos, Yankees, and Texas Rangers. He was a closer, getting 330 saves during his career. He helped the Yankees win the '96 World Series, ending a 15-year drought of titles, and was named MVP for his triples. He was a pitching coach for the Nationals and Mariners, but then in 2019, he was indicted on sexually abusing a child. However, the charges were later dismissed, unfortunately. Well, anyway, John Wetteland is now 57 years old. John Wetteland attended a high school in Santa Rosa, California, and the Mets picked him up in the 12th round of the '84 MLB draft. He felt like he wanted to go to college, so he decided to go to college, and he went to San Mateo College. And the Dodgers selected him in the 1985 draft, and he signed with the Dodgers. Unfortunately, he didn't do so well in Class A in 1986, so was demoted to the Pioneer League. In the Rule 5 draft, the Tigers selected Wetteland in Rule 5, but the Tigers had to carry him on their Major League roster for the whole season or just return him to the Dodgers. And when they decided to go with Jim Wellwander for a roster spot, the Tigers decided to select him back to LA. So Wetteland then pitched in AA and then went up to AAA and was a good relief pitcher and all that. The Dodgers, after the '91 season, would trade him to Cincy with Tim Belcher for Eric Davis and Kip Gross. That was a big deal because the Reds giving up Eric Davis. But then the Reds flipped Wetteland to the Expos with Bill Wisely for Dave Martinez, Scott Rushkin, and Willie Green. So, yeah. Montreal wasn't really missing too much. I mean, Dave Martinez was serviceable. Risley would not do so well, but Wetteland became the closer for the Expos in '92, when the Expos shocked everyone by having a bad start and then Felipe Alou leading the Expos to within inches of the NL East title, losing to Pittsburgh by 3 games. Wetteland would be a star pitcher for the Expos. Funny enough, John Wetteland actually pitched in the longest game in Expos history as a member of the Dodgers. Dodgers were playing the Expos on Wednesday night. It took 22 innings before Rick Dempsey hit a home run to left field off Dennis Martinez. But John Wetteland was the pitcher for the Dodgers in that game. Anyhow, Wetteland was a great closer for the '93 Expos that were close to winning the NL East, but they ran out of time against the Phillies. And in '94, of course, when the Expos were the best team in baseball, he was their closer. Unfortunately, though, Montreal had financial troubles. The strike ruined revenue, like extra home games and playoff games, potentially home playoff games. Not to mention a Canadian broadcasting coverage of the CBC or CTV, which would have been like 15 million Canadian if it did well. So the Expos had to jettison people. Ken Hill was jettisoned, Marcus Grissom was jettisoned, Larry Walker was jettisoned, and unfortunately Wetteland was gone too. He was traded for Fernando Seguinho. Seguinho did okay for the Expos, but he just wasn't that guy. Wetteland, unfortunately, would be remembered in the '95 wildcard round. First playoff series he went to as a Yankee. When the Yankees went to the '95 wildcard round and were up 2-0 on the Mariners, Wetteland was the pitcher who gave up the game-leading grand slam by Edgar Martinez in the 8th inning of Game 4 to center field. Wetteland would, be kind of a goat in a sense. Fortunately for Wetteland, he was not the goat of the series, as it was Jack McDowell who gave up the winning double to Edgar Martinez. But the '96 Yankees were good. He had 43 saves leading the AL. And then he recorded saves in all 4 Yankee wins as the Yankees won in 6 games. He went 4 for 4 in save situations. Wetteland was the World Series MVP for his efforts. In fact, he did that. Dennis Eckersley got 4 saves in the 88 ALCS, and then Greg Holland in the ALCS 2014. He put up 7 saves in the postseason. Well, 7 of a possible 11, because, 11 of a possible 11 wins. It's still tied with Rob Nett, Troy Percival, Brad Lidge, Koji Uehara, and Greg Holland for that record. When Mariano Rivera was a starting relief pitcher, the Yankees actually let Wetteland leave as a free agent. So Texas signed him to a 4-year, $23 million deal. Unfortunately, though, he would have elbow surgery. Although it would ruin him of his fastball speed in '99, it actually helped him expand the repertoire to a slide piece, a curveball, and a changeup. Wetteland was part of the '99 All-Star team and all that, and picked up the All-Star save, picking up 43 saves to lead the Rangers and set a new franchise record. He retired after his Texas contract expired in 2000. He was actually named reliever of the decade in the 90s because he had the most saves in the 90s. So then, Wetteland was named bullpen coach in 2006, but unfortunately, because of a long line of transgressions and his subordination, he was booted. Seattle would give him a chance to be bullpen coach December 2008, and he had a few years. Wetteland actually grew up in a log cabin. His father was part of the Cubs organization. Wetteland and his first wife Michelle met while he was playing in San Antonio. Wetteland became a born-again Christian through his relationship. They separated in 2014, and they divorced in 2015, having 4 children. The rumor was that Wetteland was hospitalized for a mental issue because he was contemplating suicide. However, it was because he had an extremely high heart rate due to high blood pressure. And in 2019, Wetteland was arrested in Texas for child abuse, sexual abuse, saying that he abused a male relative between the ages of 4 and 6 by forcing him to perform a sex act on 3 occasions. The trial started in August 2022, but it ended September 2nd because it was a mistrial because the jury was deadlocked. Unfortunately, the prosecution concluded that a second trial was not going to result in a conviction, so Wetteland is free. Like, his charges have been dropped. But, unfortunately, though, his life is not going to be the same as, whether he did it or not. That just isn't kosher. And John Wetteland should be ashamed of himself for what he did. Despite all that, he was the star pitcher for the Expos in '94, and then went to the Yankees and helped them do well for a few years, and then left to be Texas's star closer. So good on him, but unfortunately his personal life just ruined him. So it should. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.